do not distract any speakers. Also, we ask that if you have to move around, that you cut off your camera. Again, if you have to move around, we ask that you cut off your camera. And also keep in mind that we are recording live on YouTube as well as our Facebook Live page. So definitely feel free after the meeting to go back and visit our page and listen to yourself, critique yourself. And at this time, I'm going to go ahead and pass this meeting on over. Well, actually, before I do that, I just want to talk about how wonderful of a day it was here in Baltimore. Personally, me, I woke up this morning at 8:30 with our good Mr. President, who he worked me out using some basketball workouts. And I tell you, I have not been able to move around as much all day. And so I'm going to go ahead and pass this one over to our president and Mr. Robert Tyree.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I'm sorry, y'all can clap. I didn't get a chance to even. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, distinguished guests. Just want to do a temperature check in the room. How was everybody morning? Give me a thumbs up if it was amazing.
Awesome.
If your day was so-so, like if we're in a classroom, or if you needed to improve right now, give me a thumbs down, because hopefully today's meeting, today's speech, maybe even a word from your friends, your colleagues, the evaluator will brighten up your day. I'm looking forward to this amazing speaker, our VP, Natasha Brown. She's going to be speaking to us today. I'm not going to give away the theme. Also, we have the opportunity today for you and you and you and you to join us in table topics. So I'm so excited. We have two individuals that will be bringing the heat, the fire, and the pain today. All right. So I just want to say thank you for showing up today and just showing out, because I know today is going to be amazing if it wasn't already. All right. So today I am your president, but I am also your Toastmaster of the evening. And we have a theme today. We always have a theme at MSU. Today, our theme for today is, how do you see yourself? How do you see yourself? I know once, a long time ago, I see myself as a child, but now I see myself as the president of Morgan State Toastmasters. So today, as you're speaking, before you speak any role, just want to ask yourself one question. How do you see yourself? So if you saw yourself in a negative way, I want you to flip it and reverse it and change it to something bright. All right. Do you see yourself as seeds, or do you see yourself as a tree? But that was good. All right. Before I go any farther, I would love to introduce individuals that will help me bring forth the meeting. Without them, this meeting couldn't happen. It couldn't. All right. So today I want to bring forth Joseph, and Joseph will be our outcounter grammarian. Joseph, would you please explain your role for this evening?
Good evening, Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, guests, and friends. My name is Joseph Oluyemi, and today I am your counter and grammarian. My role today will be to listen closely to everybody who is talking and listen to filler words like things that we say when we are thinking during speeches. I'll also be looking at I just said that stuff twice. I'll also be checking for grammar to make sure that everybody's using proper grammar when they speak, and I'll be taking notes. Normally, I like to listen to speeches and enjoy them, but today I am tasked to listen critically. So when I criticize you, it's not because I'm perfect. As you can tell, I also make all these mistakes when I speak. Thank you. Toastmaster, back to you.
Thank you. So I love how you already did some self-correction during your speaking. So one of the big plus for choosing to do one of these roles, it changes your whole life. All right, next on the agenda, My favorite timer in the
I
world,
go right.
Angela.
Wow, favorite time in the world. I love that introduction. Thank you. I feel special. Good evening, Toastmaster, future Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. I have the honor of being the timer for this evening. The timer responsibility is one to really make sure that we capture and do everything that we need to do in this meeting, that all the roles will be able to take care of themselves. And that means we have some structure, so the time is important. So my job is very important. We have one speech tonight. The speech is between 5 to 7 minutes. As a timer, what I would like to, the presenter know that at 5 minutes, I will have the green showing you at 5 minutes. My screen will change to green. Thank you. At 6 minutes, my screen will change to yellow. And at 5 minutes, my screen will change to red, which means you want to wrap up your speech. You have at least another 30 seconds to finish it up. Now, we also have table topics. Table topics, your speech is between 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will share the screen for the green screen. 1.5 minute, yellow. At the 2 minute mark, it will be red. And again, you just want to wrap up your speech. Also want to let you know that it's important that you pin me as on your screen so you can see when those screen changes, where you are in your speech, the time you have left in your speech. Thank you very much. Looking forward to a great, timely meeting. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, my favorite timer in the world. Did amazing. And the graphics in the background, 2021, y'all. Okay, excuse me. All right, y'all. So we are moving along with the meeting. Is that time of the night? It's night, depending on where you're at. And I'm so proud to introduce our speaker of the evening. She will be our spotlight speaker for today. She is amazing. She is our former president of MSU Toastmasters. Got to give some credit from the former president because she did an amazing job. She has set the foundation and the way to allow every single person to speak. She done put the hard work in, and she is now reaping what she sowed. That's not part of her introduction. That's a segue to my friend. All right. All right. Natasha introduction. Y'all ready for this? She laughing. She's not even on the screen yet. Okay. Natasha Tierra Brown is a woman of God used by the Creator to fulfill his intended purpose on earth. She's an author, creator, life coach, community activator, educator, entrepreneur, and vice president of education at Morgan State University, chapter of Toastmasters. Her mission is to equip and to empower women and girls to embrace themselves naturally as they navigate through the humble, exponential, resilient. Natasha has 10 years of working in Baltimore City as a mentor, advocate, case manager, and teacher, and over 20 years of baptism in Baltimore and beyond as well. She has been recognized. She has recognized that even with the experience behind her, God isn't finished with her yet. That's good. This lesson on goals was birthed out of her place of transition. This lesson shows her that with intentionally, she did need more time, just a plan to reclaim hers. She didn't need more time. She just needed a plan to reclaim hers. The title of her speech today is Goals. She is on level 2 of Pathways. Natasha Tierra Brown, Goals. Come on, y'all. Give it a round of applause. Give her some love.
All right. Let me pin my timer. All right. Goals. How many of us have them? Goals. Ones that you can stick to? Do you have goals? How many of us have them? Goals, ones that we can stick to. Let's get some goals. All right, so identifying, identifying our goals is a very critical part of being able to manage your time. Being able to identify your goals is a very important part to managing your time. So I'm going to be talking to you all about goals from a place, as our Toastmaster introduced to us, of transition. So let me take you back a little bit. November 2020 should have been one of the best times of my life. I had just got in my hand the first published words, making me an author. I was the president of the most distinguished Toastmasters club around. I don't know if you ever heard of it, Morgan State University, 7 o'clock every Monday. Check us out. Speaking opportunities were coming up from left and right. And yet, instead of me walking into these blessings with excitement, I felt burdened. I knew that I was in transition because before these things started happening, I could wake up and just go with the flow. I would be able to wake up and just do what came to me. And then one day I realized I was missing things. I was double booking. I wasn't able to do the things that I really desired to do. I was missing out on my time with my friends. I was showing up late to school. There were so many things that were happening that I felt like I was losing control and I wasn't stewarding the things that God had given me well. I was standing in a place of my manifested blessings, but I was overwhelmed. So these are the steps that I took to be able to, instead of asking for more time, reclaiming my time. As we know, during the pandemic, we all had more time. But with more time, I just filled my day with more things. It wasn't intentional. And that's what I needed to do, get some intentionality behind it. The first thing I did was to make sure I had a clear vision. You must be able to see your vision. If you can see where you want to be, then you're going to be able to get there. Ways that I am able to be still and see the vision, I use meditation, prayer, or even just solitude. Getting silent and still in your mind, it might sound like something that is easy to do, but it's definitely not. It's a practice that is actually pretty challenging, but it would lend to you being more present and you being able to recognize where you are and where you desire yourself to be. So that's the first thing that we want to do. We want to have vision. We want to be able to see where we want to be so that we can be there. The next thing we want to do is write it out. So we've seen it. We got the vision. The vision is clear. We can visualize it. But now we want to write it out. So we're going to do a little exercise. I'm going to drop me a link in the chat. Drop you all a link in the chat. And if you could, just click on that link. It will take you all to a Jamboard. Let me see if I can pull that up for us. All right, if you click on the link, it will take you to this board right here, labeled goals. So you can just drop your goal. It doesn't have to be a SMART goal. Just drop any goal that you have for the next year. So as you see, I have a goal here, Her Home 2022. That is my goal. I see the vision, so now I'm writing it down. All right, so I'll give you all some time to write down your goals while we talk about transitioning from goals to tasks. First, you are able to see it. Then you want to write it down. But in order to move from writing it down to actually attaining that goal, you want to take your large goal and break it down into manageable tasks. So we're going to reverse engineer our goals. When we think about the goal, that is the end result. But what do you need to do to get to that goal? Who do you need to know? What skills do you need to possess? What resources do you actually have to have in order to attain that goal? You want to go back and make tasks so that you can break down your goal into small steps that you can do each day. Each day, do the small steps until you are able to get to the completion of that goal. So I want to go back to our jam guard. Okay, I see a car. Make 1,000 on my side job. That's amazing. Is there anybody who wants to come off mute and can share one of the goals that they have? You can just come off mute if you are able to and share with us. Desiree, I see you off mute. You have a goal you want to share? Spend more time with my family. I see. I didn't mean to call you out. I did see you off mute. I didn't know if that was intentional. Grow financially, spiritually, and mentally in all aspects of living. Keep it going. This is what I'm talking about. Keep it going. I want you to write it down. This link is going to stay open because that is the first step. Well, it's the second step. So you see it, write it down. We're going to see it. We're going to write it down. We're going to speak it until we see it. Yes, Mr. Tyree.
I would love to organize my time better, a whole lot better.
Yes, listen, that was my goal. Wanting to organize my time better. I had all of these things and people kept telling me you're doing too much. And I'm like, God has given this to me. I'm speaking to him. I'm praying with him. I'm meditating. I'm hearing from him. So it's not I'm doing too much. Like he is trying to increase my capacity. He's stretching me. He's telling me to let go of the things that no longer service me so that I can walk in the things that actually do. But the way that I was able to actually discern those things is going back to the first time. But the first step, be still. Be still, meditate, be present, and actually take time to see the vision. And then we write it out. Thank you so much for sharing that goal with us, Mr. Tyree. And thank you, those of you all who are still writing. The last step we're going to do is reorder and readjust. Come on, dance. Because if we get to this step, it's time to party. Let me tell you why. All right, if we have made it to the celebration phase, if we're at the reorder and readjust phase, that means that you have accomplished some goals and some tasks. So it's time to celebrate. Celebrate your small wins, your small steps. Having gratitude for what you've already accomplished will actually fuel yourself to continue to accomplish more. So you don't need more time, my friends. We're going to set some goals so that we can reclaim the time that we have. Thank you.
Come on, y'all, come off of mute, clap it up. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. Listen, put a 1 in the chat for me. We're going teacher action. We got 3 weeks. 3 weeks to be excited for school. If you enjoyed that speech, drop a 1, drop a 1, drop a 1. If you thought it was amazing, drop a 3. I'm looking for 1s and 3s. I'm scrolling down. Okay. Yes.
All I gotta do is school.
All my teachers, all my educators. If you've been a parent during this COVID resurrection, I'm not even gonna say that. You drop it down. Thank you. Listen, I'm gonna save my comments for the end because you done got me fired up. VP of Education. Woo! Yeah, I'm gonna say the comments to the end. Let my genuine evaluator go. All right, y'all. So if you really enjoyed that part of the meeting, I had something that is just as exciting as that speech. Yes, you guessed it. It is table topics. All right. So on the agenda, we're going to go and follow the agenda. I have our first presenter, Miss Trivia Payne, and she'll be presenting table topics. Can we give Trivia some love, please? Put a 1 in the chat for some love or clap your hands. 1 or 1. Trivia, come on off of mute. And I love the hair. I love the hair. What's that called?
I love it. I'm preparing for Florida on Saturday. Yes, my kids got
Can
me
I pause
bumped
for?
up.
I'm sorry. Can we pause for 1 second? If you did not know today is a special day. No, that's not. I'm here, but it's not my special day. Trivia's birthday is today. She's been celebrating all month. I know.
Yes.
It's
Happy
a new
birthday,
phenomenon.
Trivia.
It's birthday month. You don't just do 1 day or a week. We do the whole month. So if y'all can, please show her some more love. That's why she looks so amazing.
Thank you.
Trivia, I'm going to
And I'm sharing it with Miss Sarisa tomorrow. It's her birthday.
Come on, that was fun.
Yes.
Do I have one more person in this month that's celebrating?
My birthday in March, but I'm gonna celebrate with y'all.
And
All right,
so our,
Teresa, go ahead.
Love it, love it, love it. All right. So I'm excited to do my table topics because our president said something that had me like scratching my head because I'm like, well, what do Natasha's speech have to do with going back to school in 3 weeks? I don't really want to think about that. But that also has something to do with my table topics. So that just tied right on in. Thank you, Mr. President. So can I get 3 or 4 volunteers? 3 or 4 volunteers. You can just type your name in the chat box. If you're a visitor, you can definitely type your name in the chat box. We definitely love our visitors to help us out with this part. Yes, Crystal, Leos are the best. So while I'm waiting for some names to go in the chat, I think I have Robert is going to do a table topic. My response to the question, how do I see myself? Now, first I'm gonna give my worldly answer. Grown and sexy, 45 all day long, but I actually do see myself as a young woman who has matured a lot in the last 5 years and ready to conquer the world. That's how I see myself. And I see Mr. Terrell Baker. I'm looking for
You know,
two
Treva,
more.
maybe we can do like this, right? I know I got a couple of friends who have not had a chance to speak about how they see themselves. So maybe during that time frame, we can get some more guests. And then I will be the first person to do table topic. Maybe have some individuals that haven't seen it done before. So
Awesome.
I will be the amazing example, if you don't mind, Treva. Is that okay?
Yes. And before I give you my question, I'm going to explain what table topics are. So table topics is the time where everyone in the meeting, our guests, our Toastmasters, and our distinguished guests will all have an opportunity to speak. We are going to, well, I'm going to give you a question. And tonight, our question is going to be about education and COVID. So you'll have 1 to 2 minutes to answer the question. If you're a guest, take your time, speak what you feel, what you believe about the topic. And then we're going to have Miss Angela, who's going to hold up some colors. She talked about that earlier, red, yellow, green. And then, yeah, that's about it. So Robert, you can help me out because you're going to get the first question. And if you would like to add anything to what I said, that would be great.
Trevor, you did an amazing job explaining what table topics and the purpose in MSU. So I'm ready to go. I got me sweating, got my little spotlight on. I am ready to speak.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Ooh, it's like a song. Okay, I'm gonna go with 3.
3, I love it. This is a perfect question for you. Should parents have the option to keep their children home this year? And if so, how would you suppose having the children to make up the necessary missed skills? So I'll repeat that question for you.
I had to, because that's
Should parents have the option to keep their children home this school year? And if so, how would you suppose having the children make up the missed necessary skills?
You give me 2 minutes. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, distinguished guests. It is I, speaking in third person, Mr. Tyree. I'm your president. And the question is, should parents have a choice with keeping their kids at home, and how would it make up the gap? I'm going to be honest and be straight to the point. It's a two-sided answer. If you guys do not understand education right now, currently, there's a education gap. And a lot of students are falling behind because for the last year, a full year, right? So about a year, that's kind of like 2 school years, students have not had the proper education. There's something about in-person, hands-on, and face learning that you cannot make up. There's certain students that just have that knack where they're going to learn anything. You can put them in front of the TV, but there's certain kids that we need to touch with our presence that we have not been able to do so. There's thousands of kids, right, who have not even showed up for virtual learning. There's more who have not turned in assignments. So if we go another year without that, the gap largens. But I do understand that health is critical, right? It's the main reason why we're saying stay home. And I've heard while I was on vacation that there's another strand of this COVID, and we don't really understand what we're even dealing with, right? We've been putting plans and goals and trying to figure out what is going on, but we still don't have the right answer. So it is a critical choice that we are going to have to make. And I can be honest with you, I don't think the school system has an answer yet. At least I haven't received the answer. I know we're on live, but we got to figure out the way to learn how to impact individuals through this hybrid technology, meaning virtual and also in person. But my thoughts are I'm praying that this COVID stops, period, because my kids need me and I'm ready to get back into the classroom. So that is my time. Tabletop Master, hope I answered your question.
Awesomeness. Thank you so much, Mr. Tyree, Mr. President. All right, so I do have enough space for one more person, so you can put your name in, but I'm gonna go with Tyrell Baker. Are you ready, Tyrell?
I guess so.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so you have a choice out of question 1, 2, or 4.
You can give me 4.
Awesome. So, don't blame me. This is just what came to me. So, if you were the CEO of a public school district where the schools were failing youth, what would be your first step to addressing the challenges? If you were the CEO of a failing school district, what would be your first steps to address the challenges?
If I were a CEO of a failing school district, for me, my first thing would be to identify where the source of the issue is. Generally, I believe it starts from top down. So I would probably go to the principals and the teachers and evaluate them first. Because if they can't teach the kids, then the kids will never have a chance to learn anything. Nor will that ever change, where they are, where they stand. And then from there, I would even ask the kids how they feel about the teachers and what they're receiving. Because if they can't receive it because they can't relate, then that could be an issue as well. It's just more so identifying the problems first, I believe, and then targeting what to do next and taking it in order, step by step. And it'd be a slow change. It's progress over time. It wouldn't be an instantaneous thing. Can't expect an instantaneous change from somebody who has to learn something that they don't know. And that includes the teachers, because if they don't know how to teach the kids, then they still have to learn that as well. Personally, I believe it starts head down. We evaluate what's in front of us and go from there. Thank you.
Awesome, 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 Mr. Baker. I love it. All right, so I have 2 more questions and I have 2 more volunteers. So I'm gonna go with Mr. John because you were number 3. Mr. John, is it okay if Miss Roberta goes next?
Absolutely.
Awesome, Miss Roberta, would you like question 2 or 3? I mean, 1 or 2, I'm sorry, 1 or 2.
Good evening, I'll go with 1.
Awesome, all right. So question 1 says, with the increase in the surges of numbers of COVID, what is your take on ordering schools to fill the capacity of returning? With the increase of the numbers of cases rising, what is your take on sending the kids back to school?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Roberta Lowe. My take for sending the children back to school with the number of COVID cases actually rising is, 1, very concerning, because I personally feel as though they do not have a solid plan in place to help or to ensure that the children, one, don't catch the COVID or to spread it to their families that actually have to go to work every day. And so therefore, if they're just looking in terms of numbers and trying to fill the schools up, then I think that would always be a plan that will sink to the bottom of the ocean. So I think in terms of if they take a different approach, and instead of looking at the numbers to fill it up, more so being concerned and getting advice and feedback from the parents to see, doing a survey to see where their child is at their particular school, because not each school is different. You know, we have different students at different schools. We have capabilities, what they have the resources for, and things of that nature. So if they sit down and talk to each parent at that school, then they'll get adequate feedback of how to proceed and going further, whereas though the cases will actually not increase, as well as the parents will feel comfortable with either sending their children back to school or doing virtual learning still. So that would be my take on that issue.
Thank you so much. Awesome. These are some great answers. All right, Mr. John, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, so you have question number 2. What advice would you give to a district school leader or district school leaders who are uncertain about moving into the reopening of schools if the numbers are so high that they can't control it? So what would be your advice to the school leaders if the numbers rise tremendously?
Greetings, Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. If my advice to anyone in this position, whether they are school administrators or not, is to understand their own capacity. If you know for certain that you cannot handle enough people that would infect a lot of others, then you shouldn't do so. I believe that they should partner with other places, other schools, or other resources that might be able to hold some of those additional students and allow them to still be able to get the education that they deserve. But I do not believe that they should force numbers just because and end up endangering a lot of people for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. John. That is my table topics questions for this evening. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Dominic Statement.
Thank you, Trivia, for those amazing questions. And you guys did an awesome job with those amazing answers. I will be doing the second portion of table topics. Hope you guys are ready and excited. I'll need about 3 volunteers. Don't be shy now. Come on, somebody. If you can drop your name in the chat if you want to go. I just need about 3 people. So we got Robert Tyree.
Listen, I have this itch right now. These table topics have motivated me, and also our speech. So let's go. Oh, I guess we got 3.
Okay, who we got? Robert, Tasha, and John. Awesome, I love it. All right, guys, so we can go and get started. I'm gonna start with you first, Mr. Actually, I'm gonna go with Tasha first. Ladies first. Sorry, Tasha.
And also just to repeat, if we have any visitors, right?
Yes, that is right. If there's sorry about that. If there's any visitors that want to go, like Mr. Robert Tyree said, we would love for you guys to participate. This is really an opportunity for you to really just break the ice, and there's no way to mess up here. So if there's any visitors that want to go. All right, maybe next time. We got you. All right, Tosh, are you ready?
No, I guess.
All right, your first question is, let me see. If you can relive one moment in your life, what is it and why? If you can relive one moment in your life, what is it and why?
I have to give y'all a pregnant pause on that. If I could relive any moment of my life, okay. Okay. So, good evening, Toastmasters. Good evening, Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. If I could relive one moment of my life, what would it be and why? Okay, so there was this one day where I had a conversation with a very close friend of mine, and there was a circumstance that made me a little frustrated. And instead of pausing to reflect and to think on it and maybe take some time to side to think correctly, I didn't take that pregnant pause and I kind of released words that were filled with the emotion that I felt. And so in that situation, that person was affected, I was affected, our relationship was affected. And if I could relive that moment again, I would take a moment to just process, understand what I'm hearing, why it's causing me to shift emotionally, and to have a more productive conversation.
Okay, love it, love it. Awesome answer. Thank you so much, Natasha, for sharing your moment in life that you was go back to. So the second person we're going to call is Mr.
Guess
John.
what?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna forego my opportunity, and Desiree would love to join us and speak in place. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Hey, Desiree, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Here's the question. If you could go back in time to your 15-year-old self, what advice would you give yourself at 15, knowing what you know today? If you can go back to your 15-year-old self, what advice would you give yourself, knowing what you know today?
All right. 15-year-old Desiree. Desiree, when you go to school, pay attention, take it seriously. It will matter in your future. Don't play around. Please make good decisions. Those relationships are not that serious. I know you're in love, but you'll get over it. I know y'all gonna get me for the ums. 15-year-old Desiree, have fun, enjoy your youth, you're doing well, and be hopeful.
Awesome, awesome. I love it. Awesome. Look, be in school and be hopeful. Awesome lesson. Thank you, Desiree, for that. So I believe we have Mr. John next. You ready, sir?
Ready.
All right, so I'm gonna throw a little curveball. I'm gonna give you a number between 1 and 2 to pick. One question is a positive response. The other question might lead to like a negative response. So, but depending on what number you get, will depend on what question you receive.
But I'd like to stay in the positive. I don't know. I take 1.
All right, nope, you messed up with that one. So, but the question is this: if you could punch anybody in the face with no repercussions, no penalty, who would it be and why? If you can punch somebody in the face with no repercussions, no penalty, who would it be and why?
I would punch the figment of my imagination that is a person that held me back from the things that I should have done a long time ago. That vision of a self that, out of fear and out of misunderstanding, I made some bad choices. I don't want to punch. There's no one that has had enough control over me to make me want to punch them as much as that image within myself. So I would punch that person.
Awesome answer, man. And be honest, like when I read that question, the first thing that popped in my mind was I would punch out all fear in my life, punch out all doubt, punch out those things. So the way that you even brought that up, man, awesome answer. Well, again, thank you all for participating. Thank you, Desiree. I'm gonna leave you a guest today. Thank you guys so much. And I'm gonna turn back over to the Toastmasters for the evening. Thank you.
Y'all must have been in y'all room all week thinking about these questions. These are amazing, phenomenal tabletop questions. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Trivia. Very thought-provoking and a timely, right now observations. All right, so we are going to move into the latter portion of our meeting. I want to bring up my friend, Miss Shauna Step Jones, and she will be our. I'm sorry, hold on. Let me back it up. I'm going to bring up my mentor, Miss Teresa Pleasant, and she will be our general evaluator, and she'll be holding it down for the rest of the meeting. Teresa.
Good evening, Mr. Toastmaster and Mr. President of MSU Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, all our guests, and everyone that's viewing this meeting this evening. Good evening. Tonight, I will be a general evaluator. I will be introducing the evaluator and the speaker, and after they give their reports, I will be evaluating the meeting in a whole. This portion of the meeting is very important because it gives our speaker an opportunity to get a feedback on her speech and some recommendations on ways that she can make the speech even better. We have excellent speakers among MSU Toastmasters, but yet there's always something that our evaluators can give to help the speakers just become an even more engaged, even better speaker. It may be something that some of us may not have seen, but then that evaluator may have picked that up. And so this is the time where they get the feedback that they need. And so we have one speaker tonight and we have one evaluator. And so I'm going to introduce Shauna Step Jones, who will be evaluating Natasha's speech, and she will be evaluating for 2 to 3 minutes. Shauna.
Greetings, Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. I had the honor of evaluating my friend, Miss Natasha. I'm trying to find Natasha. I feel like his views keep switching all over the place. Y'all has got a lot going on, but I'm here to interview Natasha on her speech on goals. So the purpose of Natasha's speech was to observe her time management patterns and also to speak about time management exercises. So one thing that I loved about your speech, Natasha, is that you gave some bomb quotables, put intentionality behind your goals, reclaim your time versus asking for more time, and even the whole idea of using your goals to manage your time, to manage your time was a cool strategy that I really like that you talked about. I feel like you excelled at your clarity, your vocal variety, your eye contact. I also felt like you were very aware of your audience. And one thing that I really liked and wanted to highlight is that you utilize a lot of virtual tools, from the audio to screen sharing to dropping a link inside of the chat to so many other virtual tools that you used in your speech that I applaud you on. You did very well at that because it was really good at engaging the audience. You definitely had us engaged the entire time. One thing that I wanted to encourage you to work on was, when I read the purpose of this speech, it was to observe your time management patterns. And so I felt like you provided us with some cool time management skills. You got to have vision. You need to write it out. And then from the writing it out, you make tasks. And so I feel like what you can do is utilize contrast these particular tips with how you manage your time. And it will show your authenticity. It will give it would give opportunity for you to reflect and make some observations. And I believe that was, the purpose of this speech. So that's something that I would encourage you to work on. Just really putting yourself in it and how you do things, because we probably could learn a lot personally how you do things. And finally, I would challenge you, if I had to really, really, really pick something, I would challenge you to utilize more physical gestures. One point, in case an example where you could have done that, is when you gave the third point. You could have said the third point, or you could have said the first point, the second point. And when I said that, when you were talking about vision, write it out, make a task, reorder, readjust, maybe using some hand signals to say 1, 2, 3, could have possibly engaged some of us a little bit more. But other than that, you did an awesome job. I always love to hear you speak. And thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shauna. Awesome evaluation. And I took a lot of good nuggets from that evaluation. Thank you so much. All right. And before I give my overall evaluation of the meeting, I have 2 helpers. I have 2 more reports that we need to hear. And the first report is going to be our counter grammarian, Mr. Joseph. Mr. Joseph, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Ms. General Evaluator. Good afternoon, Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, guests, and friends. Today we had some exemplary performances of the spoken word. They were all great speeches, but my job today would be to point out areas where we can be better. There's a commonality between all the speeches I heard today, and that is that we all have crutch words that we use while we're thinking. These words are and I will go down the list and see who said what, but just give me some time to work through my report. So let's start with our president, Robert. Robert, you did a good job holding things down as the Toastmaster today. A part of your speech that I struggled with was when you introduced Natasha. At one point you said exponential instead of essential. Towards the end of your introduction, things kind of got a little choppy. So I think that maybe we can practice that introduction a bit more before you introduce somebody. And I just said, so just so you know, I'm not perfect. We all struggle with this. As per your ahs, you said 5 ahs and 1 So is your crutch word that you say a lot when you're thinking and moving on to your next step. For me, Joseph, I said 2 times, and then I said again just now. So that's 3 times for me, Joseph. Angela, you said 2 Natasha, you said one during your speech, and that was at the beginning of the speech. It was almost kind of like you said the to collect your thoughts. So, like you taught me at my first meeting, silence in the beginning is key while you're thinking. No need to put a filler word. Your table topics though was perfect. You did not make any mistake. Sorry about that. Trivia, you said twice and you said once. Tyrell, you said 5 times. So is your crutch word. Every time you took a pause, you said I know table topics is hard because we're thinking on our feet, but sometimes silence is just good to just be silent while you're thinking. Robert, you said, Roberta, you said twice. John, you said 4 times and once. So is your thinking word. Dominique, you said once. Desiree, you said twice, but you caught yourself. So you are aware of that as being a crutch word that people use. I just said so I'm gonna ding myself too just now. Shauna Steph Jones, you said 3 times, and our general evaluator, Sarisa, you have not said or yet. I think we can all learn from how you speak. You sound very calm and collected, and I think it shows that you are very experienced in public speaking. So I'm gonna hold you to not saying or till the end of the meeting. Thank you very much. Back to you, general evaluator.
Thank you so much, Joseph. I'm sure I do have filler words. I just haven't spoken long enough. But thank you so much for that evaluation. Thank you so much. Let me see. Now I caught myself. I said just now. And what I'm going to do now is just give an overall evaluation of the meeting. I first would like to commend Joseph. I can say you have been giving yourself the self-improvement evaluation throughout the entire time you've spoken. So I just like to commend you on that and being a new Toastmaster. And so I just like to commend you on that. And now I'm going to give my evaluation of this meeting. This was a demonstration of an exemplary meeting. Exemplary. It was excellent. I've been missing in action for a month, but you are always on my mind every single Monday. When we first start the meeting, I like that we have breakout rooms because it gives us an opportunity, as a Toastmaster of the day, an opportunity to see who on the agenda is present. Sometimes when we send the agenda out, anything could happen. We may have missing people, and you don't want to go live or start the meeting without having all our participants in place. So I love the fact that we have our breakout rooms just so we can get just to make sure everyone is in position. So I love that. So that's what we do behind the scenes. And then we start on time. So we start at 6:45 to get everything right. And then we start live at 7 o'clock. And I love the fact that we started on time this evening. It was great to see our Sergeant at Arms at work, Miss Shauna. This is my first time seeing her in her role for the new Toastmasters year, and all of our new officers. So I commend you all. Great job. In theme, how do you see yourself? And I will answer that question at the end of my evaluation. So I love the fact that we have a theme. It's not always mandatory, but it is always good to have because it makes our meetings more interesting. And the enthusiasm. I think one of the unique things about MSU Toastmaster, the uniqueness of our club is we always have so much enthusiasm. Like we have our reactions here at the bottom of our Zoom meeting. If we're not on camera, we can still participate and show some kind of enthusiasm. So I love that. Our speaker, even though we have one speaker, I tell you, Natasha, you were amazing. I love when we have speakers and we demonstrate different tools. Like I said, she used the different virtual tools, and that was excellent. But I love adding music and things to get our audience interested. And Natasha did a perfect job at that. And I'm going to check out Jamboard. It's the first time I've ever heard of it. So you also taught us something new. So thank you. And our table topics. And this is something I'm going to give you all advice on. Usually with table topics, you have when you give a topic, actually, when you ask for volunteers without giving a topic, that can hinder someone from wanting to volunteer. And so what I recommend you do is always explain a role. If, because we're going to have a lot of new people, we're going to have people watching. And so we don't want to put anybody immediately on the spot. And sometimes we just want to know what the topic is before they volunteer. So I would advise explain a role, give the topic, and then ask for volunteers. And I love the fact that Mr. Roberts stepped up. Thank you for just setting an example. And it's always good to have an experienced speaker do the table topics first, so our newbies can see how it's done. And then you will see how more volunteers will step up to the plate. And thank you for all our volunteers that always speak up for table topics. As you may all notice, table topics is not my favorite, not my favorite role. So a lot of times, so if you want to avoid table topics, you have to get on the agenda. That's a little secret, but you didn't hear that from me. Okay. And our evaluator, Shauna, you did an amazing job evaluating Natasha. And I definitely always see the growth in you when you evaluate. And so when we see different speakers and different evaluators, and we see how others, perform the roles, we get to learn. We learn and grow from each other. And that's what this club is about. There's no right, there's no wrong. We have our chat for everyone that's watching, that's live, actually live. Well, actually you can't chat with us on YouTube, but when you actually call into the Zoom link, you also get a chance to chat with all of us while the meeting is going on. So overall, you all did an amazing job. I love MSU Toastmasters, and I just encourage you all to just keep speaking, keep growing. Just don't be intimidated. Just get out there and then perform the roles, because we get to learn not only by speaking, but perform all the roles. And you would get to say, you get to listen, you get to, communicate, you get all of it in Toastmasters. So I just commend all of you, MSU. So just keep on doing what you're doing. And I love you all. Great job. And that concludes my evaluative report. And I think, that's the end of my role. So I'm going to return the meeting back over to our Toastmaster of the day, Mr. Robert Tyree, who is also our president.
Teresa, amazing job once again. Yes, I love to hear you speak, because every single time you just give so many gems and nuggets to improve our public speaking skills. All right, so I would like to pass it back to our VP of Education, Miss Natasha Brown. Natasha. You know what? I apologize.
Okay.
Natasha
What?
spoke today, right?
No, I'm here. Hello.
Okay.
Yes. I just changed my name. Okay. Greetings, everyone, from your VPE. Let me remove this highlight. So we do have Educational Corner today, and we are tapping into confidence. We did nervousness last week, and we did some breathing exercises. We learned about mindful breathing, our cycles. Who remembers? We breathe in 3 seconds. Nobody remembers, y'all. What we do after we breathe in for 3 seconds? Here's with an H.
Hold.
Yes, thank you. I knew somebody was going to not leave me hanging. We hold it, okay? And then we breathe out, and then we hold it. Yes, I see you in the chat, and then we do that 3 times, all right? So we're going to talk about confidence today. And a lot of these nuggets that I have, I'm going to actually drop the link in the chat as well. I was going to play the video, but I said, I want you to hear it come from me. And if you want to see him say it, you can just click the link. All right, so there is the link. And he is actually a Toastmaster giving us, we can go back to timer app. after. Okay, we go to the timer before after. Okay. So these are 5 different couple steps to help us to be more confident in our speaking. The first step, know your subject. Become a master of your content. The way that our speeches and our projects go, we typically get to choose the topic that we are speaking on. So whether it's a research topic, whether it's, your icebreaker, which is talking about yourself, you have the ability to choose your topic, and it could be something that's relevant to your passions and your interests. So that is worth doing the research, because you're not just developing the skill for a speech and Toastmaster, but you're developing the mastery of your concept for life. So become an authority of your topic. The second thing, master your presentation. So you want to practice your speech multiple times. Write it out, speak it into your voice memo. You can play it like a podcast, get it in you over and over again. And notice the areas where you're not as fluid. Notice the areas where you kind of forget what you were getting ready to say next, and focus in on those areas, and then go back and rehearse it again. That will help you. Yes, record and play back. Love it. That will help you master your presentation. It's in you. That's what we want to do. Get it inside of you, so the day of, you can just flow. Know your audience. When you know your audience, it helps you to choose a topic that will be engaging to them. And that doesn't limit you on your topic. Maybe it's a different angle. If you know who you're speaking to, then you can still choose the things that interest you. You can still choose what you're passionate about, but you can choose a subject or a topic of that is something that can be reached by all. So that's what you want to do with knowing your audience. That way you can tailor your presentation to fit the need. Let's think, even with ages, there any topic that you can speak to a kindergartner versus, someone that may be in a nursing home. It really just depends on your delivery style. Don't apologize. Don't apologize. Nobody knows you messed up. Who's gonna know? Y'all ever seen that TikTok? They'll never know. They'll never know. They'll never know. And we will never know. The only way that we know is because we tell. And I said we tell y'all. Oh my gosh. It probably doesn't, not as that dramatic, but you don't have to, because we don't know. If you just take that moment to pause, you'll be able to figure out where you're going next. And it gives everybody else an opportunity to kind of chew on what you already said. Visualize yourself giving a great speech. That goes into the speech that I gave us today. You have to see where you want to be. If you can't see it, you can't be it. And also, if you don't focus on seeing it, then it may be a lot easier for you to procrastinate on it, for you to put it on the back burner, for you to just, start it and stop it. We want to keep it focused. So if you have a vision board, throw that goal up on the vision board, make it something you can see all the time. Okay, visualize yourself giving a great speech. The last thing, focus on your message, not yourself. Focus on your message and not yourself. What you look like doesn't matter. You are the vessel that was chosen to get out that message. People should be more concerned with what you said than what you look like when you said it. And if you're really speaking the things that you're called to speak, they will be. That's all I have for today. Thank you.
All right. So we have a role that I want to introduce. It is one of the most important roles that we have at this meeting. My apologies, Angela. We need a timer report. Without the times, where will we be? Oh, without the times, we would be on time. Angela.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I appreciate it. Again, like you said, the time is very important. We did excellent on our time. I'm gonna begin giving the report with the speech. speaker, Ms. Natasha. The time was 7 minutes and 40 seconds. The time frame was from 5 minutes to 7 minutes. Using the 740, just barely over, which was perfect because you still gave a lot of meat in that speech. So we appreciate that. Going to the table topics, number one, Ms. Trivia. Her session, first speech was Mr. Robert, time 2 minutes and 9 seconds. Ms. Roberta, 1 minute, 40 seconds. John, 57 seconds. Tyrell, 1 minute and 13 seconds. Just want to remember, keep in mind, everyone, we want you to speak at least 1 minute, because that way you can get your point across and we all can buy into what you're saying and actually learn something from you. Now going to the second table topics where Mr. Dom was the coordinator for that. The first person's speech was John, 53 seconds. Desiree, 50 seconds. Natasha, 1 minute and 18 seconds. The evaluator, Ms. Shauna, your time was 3 minutes and 26 seconds. The time frame was from 2 to 3 minutes. Again, your evaluation was full. It added value to all of us who's listening. So going over those little minutes, those seconds was really appreciative and it's honorable. So thank you. That is my report. Back to you. Is that Mr. Toastmaster?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Added
You're welcome.
value. Listen, you be having some, I'm sorry, Angela, you have amazing quotes as well. Had to correct myself. So I just want to give you kudos on that. All
Thank
right,
you.
before I move on, normally the president gives like an evaluation of the meeting, just a quick little report, but like after Shauna and then after Sharisa gives an evaluation, it's kind of like, and Angela too, where do I go? Joseph, we'll start with you, Joseph. You ready? Now, Joseph, amazing report. I am working on my communication skills, so I love it when you give me the raw report and tell me what I'm doing wrong. So hopefully by the end of this term, I will be as polished as our previous as our previous president, Miss Natasha Tierra Brown. So that's my goal, honestly. So let's go written down. Natasha, amazing speech, very clear, simple points that you can grab and grasp. I love the visual aids, songs every single time at the beginning and the end. Just made everything flow. Also, you brought out the teacher side of you using Jamboard. The good thing about using content such as Jamboard, right, or PowerPoints, a lot of us have never seen Jamboard because we're not in the teaching field, right? So another device that we can incorporate in our speech and be more powerful. And the engagement piece, right? Use Jamboard. You paused, right? Allow us to get our thoughts together. And then you went back to Jamboard. So I think one thing that we could have done was model how to use Jamboard real quick. I know it's like the speech is like very short, but like I think some of us probably wanted to answer. But you even also allow us to respond in the chat. Teacher moment, you don't know how to use Jamboard? You knows that, right? No one's responding. All right, open up your mouth and say amen, right? That's what you said. Sorry, I'm so churchy. Sarisa, your whole evaluation was powerful. The one thing that like stuck out to me was giving the time for the evaluator before they spoke. Just like a quick reminder, like, all right, evaluation. Our first evaluator is Shauna. You have 2 to 3 minutes, something like that, very small. Just added so much value, like Angela was saying. You had a whole bunch of amazing things. Shauna, your evaluation was solid. Let me tell you why. A lot of times our evaluations don't provide value, or we're afraid to speak about some of the things that individuals need to improve on. So like our biggest thing is we try to get better, right? And if we don't say anything that is wrong, or I said quote unquote negative, right? How can we get better? So you gave her Natasha would say the glows, right? And the grows. And I'm gonna say goals as well. That was her speech. See, I slid in right there. Thank you. But you highlighted what she did well, right? You gave specific examples from her speech, but it wasn't. You actually modeled it as you were talking as well, and then you made sure that she had something to take away that she could improve on. And it was nothing that was just fabricated. It was something that she really needed to improve on. Thank you for the individuals, right, who stepped up and spoke today, right? Our newbies, right? People that jumped in table topics. Once again, Dom said it as well, and also trivia. It's hard to speak impromptu, and you said, I'm going to do it. So I appreciate you. And every single person that decided to take a role. So I'm going to pause because I can keep going, but I'm excited to be a part of MSU Toastmasters. I'm excited for you guys to be here. Every time I see your face, I smile. So thank you. Roberto, you came back again. I believe that before getting any farther, if we have any new guests, right? I have a question to ask you. A couple questions. If you would love to just come off of mute, right? The first question is, please introduce yourself. How did you hear about Toastmasters? And the last question is, and I hope you say yes, will you be returning for our next meeting? I'm going to pause and then just unmute yourself. Or if you're a returning guest and you have been for 30 days as well, come off of mute and just say hi to the fam.
Well, I'll go first. Hey, everyone. I was actually, well, tonight I made a decision, but I don't see Miss Red Bottoms here, so I'm not sure.
Oh, no, sis. Oh.
Oh, are you handling that tonight, Natasha?
Joseph is our treasurer for the new year.
Oh, Joseph,
He is
okay.
in the house.
Okay, so you took it over fully. Okay, good. I know you were in training, so now it's a 100% deal. Okay, so we can speak later then. So yeah, another great meeting. I kind of came in a little late when Natasha was giving her speech and we were dancing and celebrating. And I actually started celebrating when I heard my time about when I did the table topics. I said, "Oh, I was right on time." So it was great. So it was a great meeting tonight again. So yeah. See you all hopefully next week.
Thank you so much, Roberta. Also, thank you, Ms. Franny. Always love having you here. Sarita, once again, always a pleasure to see you. I know that you're very busy in this season, but you decided to stop in and more than just say hi. Miss Eva was on. Do you know Miss Eva was on vacation? She got we're alive still. Miss Eva looking amazing on vacation. I seen her and she stopped in just to say hi to us. So thank you, Miss Eva. All right, we're gonna move along. Let me pull back up the agenda to make sure I didn't forget anything. Right now, we're gonna go to Joseph. And I think he's ready for the treasure moment. So Joseph, if you can tell us what time it is.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wrote in the chat that you're going to do great and you're going to be a great speaker and you're going to move all. They say something ship lifts all tides or something like that. I forget the saying. But
I'll receive all that though.
I think you're going to lift us all up on your journey to becoming one of the best presidents that this organization will ever have. So thank you for the feedback, and I'm glad I shared with you what I saw. So today I'm going to be given today's my first day as the treasurer role. I have not figured out what to call myself yet. I was thinking of some expensive stuff. I can't wear red bottoms, but I was thinking maybe I could do some retro Jordans. So maybe I'll be Mr. Retro Jordans, or maybe I would be Mr. Versace belt or something, but
Mr. Soft Bottoms.
Still working on something for my intro every week. Today, I just want to encourage us, new members, please join us. Old members, please renew your memberships. Today, for new members, if you want to join us it is $65 plus a $20 new one-time registration fee. Most of this money goes to the overhead organization. Our chapter only takes $5, and we use $5 to have things in the bank, like if we wanted to have an event and buy refreshments and things. So that's what that money is for. But most of this goes to the uh, to the organization, Toastmasters organization, so that the organization can continue to grow and so that we can all advance. And yes, thank you. A rising tide lifts all boats. So somebody put that in the chat. Our President Robert is the rising tide, and he's going to lift us all, and we're his boats. So thank you for that. So back to the back to my treasurer speech. Renewal fees, if you're renewing today, would be $42. And kids are here. So please renew your membership and continue to support Toastmasters. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mr.
Oh, hi, kids.
Thank you, sir. Back to you, Mr. President.
Amazing job, Joseph. So I believe. Yes, sir. That is correct. Your dad's the best. Your dad's the best. All right. So, guys, we're going to move forward. I'm going to make sure we didn't miss anything right now. We're going to send Roberta and our VP, Natasha, into the room. But Natasha, can you clarify for us? I think we had the amounts wrong for the renewals, just in case somebody was on live.
Yeah, it's August. So because it's August, I believe it was $40 for new members, but we'll definitely check because it's on the membership application, and then we can update that for the month of August, because each month is prorated, so it takes away some. So I can definitely go in there. But before I went into the breakout room, I wanted to just say a little something. I'm going to just mention that we're slated to have our first in-person event next week. Who's excited? I'm excited. Woo! Okay, so I'm going to say that, and then I'm going to pass it back off to our president. The details are to come, so check our socials. If you're not following us, follow us at MSU Toastmasters on Instagram, MSU Toastmasters Club on Facebook, YouTube. Check your emails, because we have some hot things. We coming in hot all year. All right, so we're gonna Twitter as well. We need to have a VP. We need to have a spotlight for you, VPPR, so you can throw out all the things that we have going on.
Yes.
Right, and now I'm gonna go ahead into the breakout room.
Gotcha. So thank you, Natasha, for keeping me on track. So we had some hot news straight off the press from your president. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually going to be shifting our meetings. So right now we're currently meeting every single week, but we have an opportunity right now that we want to take advantage to meet in person. So what we're going to do is we're going to shift our meetings to the first and third weeks of the month. So the first and third weeks in the month will still be virtual, will be live, we'll be speaking, we will be let me pause. During the first and third week of each month, MSU Toastmasters will be live on Zoom, on YouTube, right here. Same place, same station. We're going to also do for the second and fourth week, we're going to do some meetups. So right now, due to COVID, we're trying to get that morale, the energy back that we used to have in person. So we're going to take the opportunity to reduce the amount of meetings, but we're still on a slate Mondays as Toastmaster days, okay? So what does that look like during the first and third meeting? Well, we're going to increase the amount of speeches that we do on the first and third. So we'll still be able to maintain and have the opportunity, which we will, to get President Distinguished. So it will also allow us to be better prepared for our speeches, for our roles, and just make sure that things run a lot smoother. So our goal is to try it out and see what happens. But once again, we'll be meeting same time at 7 o'clock during the first and third week. And after today's meeting, we'll be finalizing the events that we're going to have for the rest of the year. So there's some amazing stuff. Crystal and the group has come together and decided to create some opportunities to meet in person. So we want to see you in person, want to see you live, and we still want to see you also on the Zoom and YouTube. Okay. So if you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, you can reach out to me. I'll send you my information, my number. And also just look out for the information on our IG and Facebook. So Crystal's been doing an amazing job updating. I know y'all seen the videos. Yeah, woo-woo is right? We got next, right? Listen, y'all, we're trying to improve. So we decided that we feel like this will be the best thing for this season. When the season changed, we gotta change as well, right? So let's rock. So before we go to the shift, right? So next week we'll help me out, y'all. Next week, right, will be a third week. No, it'll be second week. Am I right? Thank you.
Right.
Next week will be second week. So we will not be here next week, right? But we are taking roles today. So our goal today, right, is to have 4 individuals speak and then fill out the other roles. So Miss Trivia, are you live?
No, I'm gonna send out the link in the
Okay.
group message.
Gotcha. So Trivia, do you want to speak about that? The link and how that's going to help us move forward with our roles?
Yes. So we're gonna have a calendar invite for now for the time being, and it will be scheduled up into 2 months in advance for the Mondays that we are on the Zoom line. And I believe we're gonna be doing table topics at the outings. So you'll have a link for each role that will need, it'll be a different link, and you just sign up and schedule your roles out as far out as you want for that 2 months.
Gotcha. So does that make sense, y'all? So like during our in-person meetings, right, we'll still be doing Toastmasters events like speaking, table talk, engaging to make sure that we still engage in our public speaking skills and improve. But if you have right now, if you would like to, right, speak during our next meeting, right? So it's 2 weeks. If you can, go ahead and drop your name in the chat. The other roles will be taken, right, on the link. So you have to look at the agenda, or we'll send an email, I guess a preview email before the agenda saying, hey, here's the opportunity for roles. Which one would you like? But for right now, if you would like to speak out of the individuals that we have on board, go ahead and drop your name inside. You have 2 weeks to prepare.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am, of course.
Awesome. Well, I love that you said you have 2 weeks. Wait, where am I?
Yep.
I am. I love you said that you say you had 2 weeks to prepare, because that is just that. So if you choose to speak tonight, you have 2 weeks to prepare your speech, 2 weeks to connect with me so that I can help you go through pathways. If you are taking on a role, even if it's a role that you've never done before, 2 weeks to connect with someone so that you can do that role. Like, I love the opportunity to choose a role a couple weeks out so that we can prepare ourselves better. So I love that. And also for our newer members, we are like one of the only clubs who meets every week. So I don't want you to think that you're missing out on something because we're going down to 2 meetings a month. There are some clubs that meet once a month, but we like to meet, so I truly love that you all came up with this idea, because, us getting back together, it's like a hybrid model. We have some in person and we have some virtual, until we can get ourselves, back. That's all I had to say.
All right. So what we're going to do is we'll be sending that email out to you guys as well. I'm excited to hear the next speeches that are available. Okay. So I do not want to belabor the time, as Ms. Eva would say. Before we leave, does anybody have any amazing news, right, they just want to share that's going on this week, next week, or coming up that we can kind of be on the lookout for? Trivia, don't you have something that you were speaking about earlier?
In the next couple of weeks, actually, I have 2 events coming up. September the 11th, the radio station is hosting a community giveaway / pop-up shop. So outside, it'll be all free stuff. Inside, it'll be pop-up stuff, press-on nails, skincare products, massages, minute massages, and all that good stuff. So that's going to be September the 11th. I'll send out a flyer. And then on September the 25th, we're going to have our first ever Community Unsung Hero Awards. And that is for anybody, people in the community who do not get recognized for what they do. Because I think about pastors and leaders and authors who are actually doing the work, but they will never get recognized. Here's your opportunity to nominate someone. The winners do not need to pay to get in, but we are going to have 60 tickets available for people to come in. It's going to be banquet style, and you're going to have a buffet meal and all kinds of good stuff. But if you know of anyone that fits that bill, everyone is a winner. So if they're nominated, they're going to get citations from the city and things like that. So if you know anybody, you'll see flyers about that coming soon on a Facebook page and Morgan Facebook page as well.
All right, thank you, Trivia.
have-
Shauna, I see it. Yes, ma'am. Come on.
So I just wanted to encourage everyone to register a young lady for our upcoming Divaneering workshop. We just had one on the 24th. We're having our next one August 14th, and it will be Rapunzel, Lift Up Your Hair, Hun. This particular workshop focuses on structural engineering, so exposing young ladies to structural engineering and forces and masses and things like that, but in a fun, relatable way. So admission is free. We do have sponsors for 30 girls. So if you know a young lady that would be interested, or a mom that is looking for something to do with her young lady that's positive and fun and a memorable experience, please encourage her to register the young lady at www.divaneering.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Shauna. Thank you, Trivia. Is there anyone else that is having an event or some good news? Come on, we want to celebrate you guys at this moment. I got some good news. Here we go. All right. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, I am preparing for an event where we will be doing a financial workshop, but also financial fitness for, we'll say, the individuals that want to get in shape, right? But they don't want to go to the gym. So some of my friends are on here today, and they allowed me to work out some of the kinks in my training. So thank y'all for allowing me. And I pray that she's looking at me kind of strange right now. I pray that you guys enjoyed it, but we need more moms and brothers and fathers and sons, like, come on board. So like, if you guys know anybody that's interested in training and trying to get back to their fitness goals, you can reach me on my IG, First of the Soul. So I'm putting some plugs in, okay? So, all right, y'all. So it is about to be 8:30. We are on time to close. And yes, if you guys have flyers, please, right? Let's share them with us. Cause I want to post. I want to make sure that, Shauna, that your Divaneer workshop, every someone that comes up is packed. Trivia, I want to make sure that like your event is sold out. Oh, it's free, but everyone's showing up, right? And the whole community is supporting, because that's what we do at Toastmasters. So please send those stuff, and we'll try to put it on our social media account. Y'all like, comment, share, do something, right, to support our friends and family. All right. We are at 8:30 and we're right on time. So I'm going to end the meeting. Just want to say I love you. Love, peace, and hair grease and soul. That was terrible.